Diane in Denmark here. I'm doing a little question and answer session today. Let me just get the timer started. Remember, if you're not using a timer, go and get one immediately or use one on your telephone, and especially when you're doing things like watching YouTube videos or going onto Netflix or going down that black hole of the computer. I use my timer for all those things because we think we're just going to spend, I'll just look at a couple of videos and then before you know it, half of the evening is gone and you haven't done anything, you start feeling guilty. So don't feel guilty, just take 15 minutes and then do something and then, go back to your me time. Anyway, I said I would do a wee question and answer session today. And if I'm sounding a bit nasal, it's because I didn't get enough sleep last night. But there's a good cause. It wasn't because I've got the blahs or I couldn't sleep or it was full moon. I was out with my friend Catherine, who I've mentioned before. She's from New Zealand, and we went out for dinner to a Vietnamese restaurant, and then we went to see Gary Newman at Pumperhoesel here in Copenhagen. And if you saw yesterday on the videos that I made, we had like a blizzard and the snow continued all day. And there I was on my way to meet Catherine. I had to get the hairdryer out outside in the shed to warm up the gears on my bike because they were frozen. Anyway, it's all good, but it was a fantastic evening, but I got to bed quite late. So it was like 12:15 when I got back on the train. And then by the time I got in and kind of, calmed down a bit, it was about 1:45 before I was in bed. And you'll know, if you've seen me on Instagram, I like to get to bed early with a book. And so anyway, tonight I will be going to bed early. But it is Plan and Play Day, so if you haven't, gone out and done something, met up with a friend for a long time, now is the time. Get on your telephone, send a text and say, hey, can we, go and see a film or go for a walk down at the beach. And on the subject of beaches, I'm just going to answer a few questions that have come up. I don't have time to answer every individual question that comes in on YouTube and Instagram, because there are like hundreds of comments every day. But if there's something that I'm asked a lot, I'll try and answer it here. One of the questions was about clothes swap parties, and I was down swimming with Vibeke and Helena this morning, and Vibeke gave me a bag of a couple of tops for me, so you will see those in an outfit soon. And Vibeke and I, were actually going to a clothes swap party tomorrow, so you will be seeing a video hopefully on Thursday of what fantastic finds I get at the clothes swap party. Now, if you're completely new to clothes swaps and the idea of the clothes swap, I've already made a few videos. It's on the series that I did called Building a Wardrobe, where I decluttered overcoats and there's shoes, and I decluttered jewellery and tops and bottoms, trousers or pants, as you might call them. And I've put on that playlist, there is clothes swap parties that I've held here, the other ones that I've been to, what I've come home with from clothes swap parties. But the idea behind a clothes swap party is that you declutter, your tops, the things that you're not wearing or that don't suit you or they don't fit right, but still got some life left in them. It doesn't have to be clothes. We also do jewellery and anything like makeup. Maybe you've bought a hair lacquer and it just doesn't work for you. Instead of putting it in the bin or in the recycling, you can take it to clothes swap party. Somebody else might want to try or it might suit them. So this is what we do. We meet up. The ladies that I meet up with, they are in the International Ladies group here. And we meet up about every month and a half to 2 months. And everybody takes along the bags of what they've decluttered. It can be handbags, shoes, whatever. We've also started bringing books and all manner of things. And you could do it with things like, craft supplies. If you're a member of a knitting group, I'm sure you've all got a lot of wool that you don't use, or knitting needles, or, whatever is craft stuff. You get together, somebody hosts a party, or maybe you can borrow a church hall. We can also borrow rooms at the library here in Copenhagen. And what we normally do is everybody brings along a snack to share, and whoever's hosting it, puts on tea and coffee. And what we do is you'll see it if you watch one of the videos of the party at our place. We take everything out of the bags and put it so that we've got all the trousers in one section, all the handbags, all the jewellery. And then basically it's a free-for-all. We don't have any rules about, when I first heard clothes swap, I thought that, I would take along something and I could only swap it with one other person of what they had. It doesn't work like that. It's like going to a jumble sale, that they're set up. And then if you're looking for example, tops, you can rummage through the tops that are there. And we don't have anything saying like, oh no, you're only allowed to take 10 things or 5 things. We're grown-up women, and we can discuss things if there's 2 people that really want it. And what often happens, if there's an item like that, you say, okay, well, you take it this time, and if you don't like it, then bring it back and I'll get it next time. But it all works out all right. And I've had a lot of questions about, don't we all have to be the same shape and size? Absolutely not, because I've had things that are maybe too big for me. Other people have had things that are too small for them. And you can always, jewellery is one size, jewellery is one size fits all. And the same goes for things like hats, scarves. We had a lot of scarves last time. And especially things like nail varnish. I've come back from clothes swap parties with great nail varnish and new foundations to try that didn't suit somebody else. So it doesn't really matter about your size, because even if you're not the same size as the others there, you can still come home with, a handbag or some kind of fun accessory. So anyway, if you haven't tried clothes swap before, please try and do that. It's a really fun evening, and as Helena, our other mother bestie, said this morning when she saw Vibeke was giving more stuff, she said, "Your clothes budget is 0." And I said, yeah, because I buy very few clothes these days because I get most of them at a clothes swap, and it's just a great way to recycle. Instead of buying more things and more things are being produced, we're using the clothes that are already there and getting more use out of them. So anyway, that was a bit about the clothes swap, and I am so looking forward to the one tomorrow, because I've seen all the adverts, for the new spring season clothes, and I said, no, I'm not going to buy anything because I'm going to that clothes swap tomorrow. And anyway, I'll do a video about what I come home with from the clothes swap. You'll see another one of those hauls. Oh yeah, the 40-day declutter challenge that we're running right now. Please, if you can, come and join us on Instagram. I've told you before, you don't have to have an account on Instagram or post anything on Instagram to see what the others are doing. If you just look for me, I'm Diane in Denmark, just like the name of the channel here, or the hashtag Diane in Denmark, and you'll see what the others are posting. It is so inspirational to see what you have been flinging on this 40-day challenge. And I posted the other day and I said, okay, who's still with us? Because now we're on today's day 16. And people said, yeah, we're still going strong. And they hadn't, they'd done one of these 40-day declutter challenges before, but they had that problem of, it had to be a whole bag every day. And as I said to you, it goes really well the first couple of days because we're all kind of jazzed up about it and excited to get started. And then, you have a hard day, or, the kids are ill, or, something goes wrong at work, and you feel like, you just kind of throw in the towel because you can't do a whole bag. But because they've just been doing one a day, even if they've been feeling dreadful that day, you can still find one thing, like one piece of paper, some of the funny things that we hold on to. There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, but they had posted, and I've done the same thing. They had kept, you know, they had this nice smelly candle, and it had come in a nice box, and they had used the candle, but the box for the candle was still there in the display cabinet. I mean, you know, I've done the same thing, been there, done that. Why do we hang on to these things, you know? But anyway, gone now. That was her item for the day. And you'll get lots of inspiration of, you know, why am I holding on to this? What was the other thing that somebody posted yesterday? Oh, and she was going through a lot of kitchen gadgets. Things that had been broken for years are finally going out the door, one item at a time. So anyway, come and join us for that. And if you're not on Instagram, it doesn't matter, because I'm doing the roundup on Sundays, Saturday and Sunday, showing you my little 1 minute video from each day and what I've been playing. Right. Okay, on to the next. Oh, yeah, winter bathing. If you saw my pictures on Instagram on Friday, you will know that the Danish North Sea has now frozen. It's frozen at the edges, and down at the bathing club where I swim, it has now turned to slush ice. And I posted pictures there on Friday, and I know you all kind of, it was jaw-dropping, because you just can't imagine how cold it is and why on earth we would do it. But you know, it keeps us going. You know, we're 50 years old. Helena is 52, and Vibeke has just turned 54. Hello, Vibeke, because we're going out to celebrate her birthday on Thursday. And the winter bathing thing, I get a lot of questions about how long we're in the water, and somebody thought we were wearing wetsuits. No, we are completely naked. At these temperatures, you don't wear anything. I mean, the suit would freeze to your skin. It's just not good for you. So like this morning when we were down there, it was slush ice again. You're walking down the steps. You go down backwards when there's ice on the steps for safety's sake. And there's also a rope, because at the bottom of the bathing steps, the railings, the handles of the bathing steps, they are encrusted in ice, you know, because of the waves, and it's impossible to get rid of it. So there's a rope to hang on to, and there are actually chunks of ice. I'll post pictures on Instagram later today, but you can see me in the slush ice, in the sea, which is now slush ice, holding lumps of ice that are floating about in the water. So you go down backwards, and we are normally in, there's no kind of set time that we're in, because there can be days in October when it's not that cold. I mean, the water's always cold, but when it's not that cold, but you know, if I haven't had enough sleep the night before, or I'm kind of dragging my heels, then I might not be in the water for very long. But this morning, I mean, I could have been in the sea for a couple of minutes, and the sea temperature was -1. There's a lot of, there's salt, of course, in the seawater. So the sea freezes at about -1 or -2 Celsius, which I think is about 28 F. I can't quite remember. You'll need to Google it. And another question that I get is, you know, what happens, you know, when we come out of the water? Well, we dry off, we don't shower. There's not so much salt in the water here that we would ever take a shower. Though at the moment you can really feel the salt in your skin. I think it's because the ice crystals, it forms in a different way, and it feels a bit different on our skin right now. We do have showers down at the bathing club, but it's only cold water. And it's colder than your tap water here, because there's no insulation, and the water goes straight into the sea again. So it's not like bathing, you know, it's not like the showers that you would get at some kind of spa place where there's hot water and you've got the nice aromatherapy. This is just a basic shower. You know, it's a shower head, and the water goes right down into the sea. You can look through the grill thing. and it's only cold water, and you don't of course use any kind of products, no shampoo, so you don't, it's not for, you know, doing your getting yourself ready in the morning, you know, it's not kind of, you know, showering and putting in the shampoo and then conditioner and, you know, shaving your legs. It's not like that at all. So there are showers there, but we normally only use the shower in the summer if there's, for example, a lot of algae in the water, and then, you know, it can be a bit of a health hazard, so you wash off afterwards just to make sure. Anyway, so that was it about winter bathing, and as I say, the amount of time that we're in the water totally depends on our state of mind. It's not really so much to do with the weather, because at the moment when we're standing up on the bridge, it can be like it was last week, -19 Celsius wind chill, and it actually makes the water feel quite warm by comparison. But anyway, if you're interested in that, I've done a couple of videos about it, and if you've never seen the frozen sea, I mean, I had never seen a frozen sea until I came to Denmark, because in Scotland it's cold, but the sea never really freezes. I mean, in Edinburgh, I lived very close to the sea, but the sea actually never gets below about 5 or 6 degrees, so it gets much, much colder where we are in Copenhagen. Anyway, that was about winter bathing, and I'll just do one more question, because as I said, I didn't want to keep you back today. Where to start with Flylady? Classic question, and you can do the 31 baby steps if you're really wanting to do the Flylady system, you know, buy the book and understand the how and the why. I did a series of 31 baby steps, you know that, you've heard all about it, but sometimes I know you're going to rebel and say, I haven't got time for that, I want to do it now. I'm going to tell you something right now. You can, of course, you can jump in with decluttering and try your hand at detailed cleaning, but unless you get your daily routines down pat, it's not going to last. Okay, because you may see results. I mean, everybody sees results with the Flylady system, like overnight. I mean, even just shining your sink or tossing out 3 items, it gives you that feeling of, yeah, now I know what I'm doing. Unless you do your routines, and I'm going to be mother here, unless you focus on your routines, you're not going to make that change which is going to last. And then you're going to sit back and say, well, the Flylady system doesn't work, and I haven't got time to be, you know, putting on lace-up shoes, and why do I have to do that? So what I would suggest you do, if you're not going to do the 31 baby steps, but maybe you can kind of do them, you know, at the same time. I also did a series called the 7-day routine Flylady Routines Challenge. I'll put a link. Remember, when I go like that, if you pop your finger on the top right hand corner, the video playlist will come up. And the same way with if you're sitting watching this on a computer, click on the mouse up in the top right hand corner, and the playlist will pop up. That's how it works. Or otherwise there's a link in the video information. I did a series where we worked together for 7 days, and you were either working on your morning routine or your evening routine, or maybe both. And I gave you a lot of tips about what to focus on. You know, if you are working outside of the house, if you are getting dressed in the morning and going out of the house to a place of work, your evening routine needs to be the thing that you focus on first. You know, morning routine is also important, but the evening routine is the one that you really need to focus on. If you're working inside the house, if you've got people living with you at home, if you're looking after small kids, if you work from home, if you work part-time from home, your focus, your main focus is the morning routine. And I won't go into it now because, as I said to you, I've done this playlist and we worked together for 7 days. And the idea was that you saw how, you know, implementing the routines, how that really is going to anchor the system for you. By doing the routines, that's how it builds us up. And then even when life hits us, and you know, it happened, you know, you know, we had illness in the family, my dad died, you know, there can be lots of things going on. Even when that happens, I still keep going with my routines because it just gives me peace of mind, and it keeps, you know, it's therapeutic, and we're just, you know, we've just got to get on with our routines and do it. And it's actually very therapeutic if you're going through hard times to concentrate on those routines. Really, if you're having the blahs, anything like that, routines, get that checklist out. The main thing is that you actually write down your routines, but I've talked about that as well. Whether it's electronic or on paper, anyway, you can check out the playlist. Because once you've got the routines going, then you can add in, you know, weekly home blessing hour or a bit of detailed cleaning in the zone. You remember I was working here yesterday. I did the table and the chopping board, got that oiled. I'm going to do more today. Then you can add in those things. But if you have a hard time, you just stick with your routines, and it doesn't matter if you miss a day or miss a week of doing a zone, because it's all going to be taken care of, and you're in a good place when you've got your routines going. And I know also, that's why I post it on Instagram every weekend. I know a lot of you kind of skip about with your routines at the weekend, and then you get that kind of pile up come Monday morning. But you know what? You take it as a learning experience, and it shows you, you know what? Life is actually better when you're doing your routines, because when you take a break from the routines, you think you're doing yourself a favour, and you're actually doing the opposite, and then it just makes you feel worse. So anyway, take that as a learning thing that, oh, you know what, I didn't do it for a couple of days. Don't feel bad about it. Just say, well, you know what, that really proves how good I feel when I'm doing my routines. Anyway, on with my routines for the day, because it is plan and play day for me. So I'm going to be planning fun with another friend, and doing my menus. Remember, I set my timer for 10 minutes, and I plan my menu for the week, and then I've got my list for errand day. And what else am I going to do today? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's basically on my Flylady schedule. And if you haven't done the daily focus yet, you know, you've got your routines going, you've got weekly home blessing, then you can add in your daily focus. Oh, excuse me. I have to finish off my tea. All last week I showed you how I fit the Flylady daily focus into my life here, my home, Copenhagen, how I do it my way, and how I have adjusted it to suit me and my family. So anyway, you can take a look at that if you want. But anyway, I hope you set your timer, and now's the time to get off your bahookie like I am and go and do something. And remember, if you come back to YouTube, and it's really nice that you binge watch my videos, but please don't sit there all day. You know, if you take me cleaning with you, that's great. Or, you know, if you're folding laundry or tidying up at the office and doing a bit of filing. But otherwise, set that timer before you go into YouTube, because it is it's a big sucker of time. Okay, that's it for me. Diane in Denmark, as usual. Live long and prosper. May the Danish hygge be with you. Beautiful sunshine today. And I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but anyway, I'll think of something. Okay, see you very soon.